back, everybody, to Inside the Vandals. Idaho men coach Don Verlin still with me here. And, Coach, one of the keys this season has been the perimeter play of Connor Hill, an excellent three-point shooter. Our Alyssa Charleston had a chance to sit down with the sophomore.
Thanks, Madison. Well, I'm here with sophomore shooting guard Connor Hill, who is actually leading the WAC in three-point percentage and makes, fifth in the nation in percentages. How much has your game improved since last year?
I think it's improved quite a bit. I feel like I can do more things than just shoot. I can do mid-range, pull-up, threes. I have scored a little bit going to the hole, so just trying to just work on my game and just be aggressive.
That's important. Well, you are also known, in addition to those things, as kind of a three-point specialist. The crowd gasps every time you shoot, ready for it to go in. Do you like that pressure, or is it ever too much for you?
Well, the role of being a shooter is kind of, there's some pressure there, but because there's some games you can you're off or you're on. But I feel like mostly I've been pretty consistent besides a few games, but there's some pressure, yeah, because you got to knock down some shots to help your team, and if that's your role, then you got to hit the open shot. So there's a little bit of pressure, but I like my role.
And when you guys are struggling a little bit offensively, what kind of mindset do you have going into it, trying to keep everyone positive?
Just trying to assert myself and be aggressive in the offense. Trying to find my spots in the offense and the plays. Just try to be aggressive and get my teammates involved. So I think that's important.
Absolutely. You're also leading the nation in 4-point plays. When we see it on the court, that's a huge momentum builder. And what kind of is it? Is it a mix of strength and luck? Is it technique? Is it something you work on in practice every day?
Well, it's definitely not something I work on, but I feel like teams, they have to guard me up tighter. They're not in as much help as they are used to being in. So when I get it and I shot fake, they fly at me, and Jay try to contest the shots. So I just let it fly, and it's kind of luck because they hit me.
Yeah.
But I feel like they contest, and if they hit my arm, then it's 4-point play. So.
Absolutely. Well, your role has also changed on the team this year. You've had a breakout sophomore year. How comfortable are you with that role change, and how do you kind of hope to improve it?
Well, I don't know if you can call it a breakout year, but I've gotten better. I've improved. I feel like just working in the gym, just shooting, just trying to do all that stuff to just improve my game will help me in the future. And I feel like just dedicating myself to the court and to the weights and just everything like that, like I did between my freshman and sophomore year, will translate to my sophomore, junior, senior. So,
as far as off the court, is there anything you like to do in your spare time when you have any?
Not much spare time, but during the season. But I like to go home. I'm from Coeur d'Alene, and there's a big lake there. I like to go home with my family and my friends, just to hang out on the lake.
Cool. Well, I think we've learned a little bit more about sophomore guard Connor Hill today, multi-athlete, and hopefully we'll be seeing a couple more of those 4-point plays on the court. Back to you, Madison.
So, Coach, Connor's game is really exploding this year. It's not only the perimeter shooting, which is maybe what made him the big name as a freshman, but it's his all-around game that's really developing. Talk about how much he's changed in his 1 year here in Moscow.
Well, the first thing is Connor's a great kid, and he works extremely hard on his game, and his strength is shooting the ball from the perimeter. And what we've challenged him to do is develop a mid-range game, and he's done a good job of that. So it makes him harder to guard. But it all goes back to Connor working hard in the gym every day.
Now, Coach, you guys play another game this week despite the WAC being off. It's your Sears Bracket Buster game against Idaho State down in Pocatello Saturday at 2 o'clock. Now, Coach, a couple questions on this that I want to ask you, and it starts with the Sears Bracket Buster. Talk about how important something like this is to have a non-conference game late in the season to really get to showcase yourself one more time before any sort of selection committee, regardless of the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that important, to be honest with you. And I know Bracket Buster's going away now after this year. This is the last year it'll be played. I think when it originally started, it was a great idea. Now it's kind of lost its luster. And, it's kind of interesting. We get Idaho State, who's a rivalry game. It's a game that had been played for a long period of time. Since I've been here, we played at Idaho State our first year. They haven't wanted to play the game. So it'll kind of be nice that someone's making us play that game. So I know our guys will be looking forward to going to Pocatello on Saturday.
And when you go down to Pocatello, one thing that you also get, especially from a university standpoint and the athletic department standpoint, is a game in southern Idaho. That only extends the reach of this program even farther. Talk about how important that is to get those extra markets outside Moscow.
Yeah, I think it's very important, especially in the state of Idaho, because our state's so big, and we try to play a game in Boise every year. This year, playing Boise State down there. Hopefully, we can do that again next year. And then with us playing Idaho State, and with us going to the Big Sky Conference, we'll now see Idaho State on a regular basis.
And that's the last thing I want to talk to you about with Idaho State is actually the move to the Big Sky. After next season, you guys will play Idaho State. You'll play these Montanas, the teams that you've seen this year, Eastern Washington. Talk about what you've seen out of Idaho State, especially in the games where you guys have similar opponents.
Well, Bill Evans is a good coach, and he's been in this game a long time, and he's done a good job. This is his first year there, so he's trying to change the culture at Idaho State. But what they're going to do is they're going to play us a matchup zone the entire game, try to slow down the game, try to make it a low-scoring game. I haven't got into Idaho State probably as much as we'd like to at this point. We don't play the game until Saturday. But I know Montana, they played Montana extremely close on Saturday night. And so I look for a tough, hard-fought rivalry game on Saturday.
So now, Don, after that, we do move back into WAC play. You guys start off on the road, in San Marcos against Texas State, and then down at UT San Antonio. You finish up the WAC season at Seattle University. These are three teams that are very winnable games for you guys. How do you go out there and end the season 3-0 before the WAC tournament?
Well, you got to get your mindset right, and you got to go out and play one possession at a time like we try to do every game, and you got to take the wins where they come, and hopefully we can get on a roll going into the WAC tournament.
So now I know you probably have this thought. I know Idaho women's coach John Newley has this thought. It's still too early to talk about seeding for the WAC tournament, but one thing that is crucial is you guys are holding on to the 6th seed right now. Talk about how important it is to be a top 6 team compared to dropping down in a 7 through 10.
Well, it's tough because you have to play that extra night on Tuesday if you're not in the top 6, and hopefully we can take care of our business and not have to worry about that.
Well, Don, good luck. We appreciate it. When we come back, we'll talk with Idaho assistant women's coach Jordan Green to see how the women did on the road this week and look forward to next week.